Greetings fellow Whovians and welcome to Timey Wimey Review. I just wanted to touch in a little bit more detail on the epic announcement that came down on Doctor Who Day that the classic Doctor Who story, The War Games, is the next story to be given the in-colour treatment, similar to what happened last year for Doctor Who's 60th anniversary with the Daleks. This story makes the final appearance of the second Doctor, Jamie and Zoe, aka Patrick Troughton, Fraser Hines, and Wendy Pabbery, but it's also the final story to be filmed in black and white, with the following year being in glorious colour for the Jon Pertwee Third Doctor era. Alongside this announcement was that gorgeous looking trailer showcasing this story in full-blown colour. We're going to get some extra added effects as well. Most notably, I saw the effect of the transportations used in this story. Kind of look like this. I'll just call them TARDIS transports. Not trying to give too many spoilers away from this. Well, this near 50-year-old story or over 50-year-old story. So we saw some of those, looks like, in space as well, which obviously didn't happen in the original setting. And also, we're going to get a never-before-seen regeneration. So the second Doctor will regenerate into the third Doctor. I'll touch upon that a little bit more later in this video. But first, let's have a look at the statement that went alongside this trailer, which is on Doctor Who TV. And it states, "It's time to step into the excitement of the War Games once again, as one of Doctor Who's most classic tales is to receive a spectacular new colorization. Originally aired in 1969, the War Games marks the end of an era for the second Doctor, following him and his companion Zoe and Jamie as they land in a battlefield that appears to be a World War I military zone. But all is not it seems. They soon discover that soldiers from different historical periods have been abducted and are being manipulated in a cruel game. As they work to uncover the mystery behind the Warlord and his twisted experiments, the Doctor faces one of his most difficult challenges." Original episodes have been meticulously colorized and enhanced with updated visual effects, edited into a new 90-minute feature-length experience to appeal to today's modern audiences. With updated sound and new score, this newly updated version of the War Games offers both fans and newcomers even more ways to watch the much-loved classic story. In addition, the episode will also feature the second Doctor's never-before-seen regeneration into the third Doctor, Jon Pertwee, alongside recovered footage not seen since the original broadcast. Showrunner Russell T Davies said, "From the day I arrived back on Doctor Who, this was the plan, to colorise old stories and bring them back to life. And on Doctor Who Day itself, it's great to announce this, celebrating the show's wonderful heritage with an all-time classic. It looks so vivid and new, and for fans of black and white, the story in its original form will stay on our BBC iPlayer, so everyone wins." I actually watched this transmitted in 1969 at 6 years old, terrified of the Roman soldiers, fascinated by villains with glinting spectacles, and in awe of the Doctor's brand new origin. Now fans old and new can enjoy it all over again. So yes, all the bells and whistles getting behind this colorized version of the War Games, which is going to be due to be broadcast on BBC 4 in the UK and also on BBC iPlayer on the 23rd of December 2024, of course. So 2 days before the Christmas special, Joy to the World. Before I get too swept up into the excitement though, I did have a bit of a knee-jerk reaction moment about this announcement when they said that it is going to be a 90-minute special presentation. Now, this was originally a 10-part episode epic story. Really is epic in its scale. So to cut from, 5 hours or 250 minutes, I think, something like that, down to 90 minutes. Oh gosh, that is going to be a challenge in itself. So yeah, and I know that quite a lot of Whovians are worried about this as well. So when I first announced it, there was, I don't know, I felt there was quite a bit of, I think negative impact is a bit too strong a word, but definitely some skepticism going on in the Whoniverse, and this is what we're here to talk about. The rights and wrongs, and everyone has an opinion on this. All opinions are welcome. Just obviously, let's be respectful for each other's opinions. So yeah, like I said, I'm very worried about how much they're going to have to take out to turn this into a 90-minute story. I know this story does originally have a lot of padding in there, so it could work to its advantage. But I'm also fascinated what they keep in, what they keep out, um, to make this 90-minute special presentation work. And I know previously, when the Daleks was broadcast in color, there was a bit of criticism with the new scoring and some of the scenes that just kind of got chopped and spliced together. Um, I'm going to err on the side of positivity. I understand why they're doing this, sort of cutting them down for a more sort of modern audience that are not quite used to these wonderful sort of long dramatizations, which I kind of get in one respect. But on the other side of that, I don't want them to sort of make them, this target modern audience, have their intelligence insulted at the same time. A lot of fans, especially when I went to recent comic cons, they are fans of classic Who, and I'm sure they have watched this. If they wanted to get into classic Doctor Who, they would definitely just watch this and obviously take things as they come, as how it is presented. Sort of counter argue with that, sort of going for that modern target audiences. Obviously, it's going to be on BBC in the UK and BBC iPlayer, fantastic. But will that sort of transfer across the pond? I'm imagining on DVD and Blu-ray, but in terms of sort of streaming rights, which I feel like they're kind of missing a bit of a trick, that it's not going to be like for streaming on a global audience. Maybe there's something that could have been added onto Disney Plus, these special color presentations, just to give a bit of a flavor of what other Doctor Who is, and again, just to, for, if anything, for Disney, just to test the waters in terms of like, do they want the rest of the back catalogue, or are they just happy with just a joint venture and just having the 15th Doctor era of Doctor Who for now? Moving on to the rest of the part of this epic announcement, was obviously they were saying about new music, new special effects, and the regeneration of the second Doctor into the third Doctor. This is where it's starting to sort of cause a little bit of confusion, controversy, just a bit of sort of head scratching in terms of like the head canon that we kind of molded into ourselves as well with this. So it was announced that we're going to be seeing the second Doctor regenerate into the third Doctor. Now, originally, we didn't see that. Again, spoilers, sorry. So at the end of the War Games, the Doctor has been forced to exile onto Earth, and the last sort of images we saw was the second Doctor spinning around in this vortex and fading to black. Because at the time it was announced that John Pertwee was going to be the third Doctor, they were already in production of War Games, so they couldn't do the infamous regeneration scene similar to what they did with William Hartnell into Patrick Troughton. So what happened was the following year is you see, obviously you would have seen if you've seen Spearhead from Space, is the TARDIS lands, and then the third Doctor comes out and collapses onto the sort of woodland area where the TARDIS lands. But now, and a little bit that we got alluded to in that trailer, we are going to be seeing a regeneration of sorts with the second Doctor. And part of this, which is quite an amazing announcement as well, was made by a YouTuber called Confession Dial. I'll put a link in the description if you want to see the full video that he did with the second Doctor regenerating into the third. It's a really good video. I also like the little tease of when the TARDIS materializes or dematerializes onto Earth. It kept flicking between 70s and 80s with that whole sort of unit time stamping controversy as well. We'll say that for another day. But yeah, if you want to see that video, go check it out. It is absolutely amazing. And so the person behind it, he's called Jacob, who's also a filmmaker as well, a visual effects artist as well as a YouTuber. He went on to Twitter to say that yeah, he was the person behind it, and that video that you can see now on YouTube is kind of what they're going to be using for the upcoming War Games special. He said he was contacted by Philip Collinson, who said, "Oh, can we use this material?" And yeah, he jumped at the chance. And why wouldn't you? That's sort of like a Doctor Who or Whovian's dream come true, to be part of Doctor Who history. At the moment, we've kind of got this mysterious season 6B, which kind of sort of got turned from the fans when Patrick Charlton returned in The Two Doctors with Colin Baker and Jamie Fraser Hines as Jamie. He made a return as well, and there was kind of like this not overly mentioned, but kind of brief mention that it was the Time Lord sending the Second Doctor onto a mission regarding the story of the Two Doctors, which kind of made this sort of like, where does that sort of fit into the time canon type of thing? So fans kind of created this series 6B of basically the Doctor doesn't immediately regenerate. He is basically on separate missions for the Time Lords as part of his punishment. And then, incidentally, when we have the fugitive Doctor, Joe Martin, Doctor, when that was big shock came in the 13th Doctor episode, The Fugitive of June, a lot of people are saying, oh, maybe that's what happens. This is where the fugitive Doctor sort of lands, because you could have like maybe the second Doctor regenerating into the fugitive Doctor, and we had the whole sort of celestial investigation agency, I think that's what they were called, the Time Lord Agency and the Division, and they can have all those stories in there, and then that's when they regenerate into the third Doctor that we know. But that might not be the case when we get to see this regeneration in December. So obviously there's been a bit of controversy from there, a lot of people sort of melting with the headcanon on this one. Again, I get the arguments on both ways. You know, obviously the expanding media, it's never been set in stone in Doctor Who lore in terms of the televised stuff. So anything like Big Finish and things, it's kind of referenced, but not really sort of set as set in stone. And obviously everyone's sort of trying to sort of figure out where the future Doctor is, and not quite sort of believing that it's going to be before William Hartnell, and it's, you know, where to sort of fit all these in. So yeah, it's kind of gone a bit sort of messy in that type of ones, but I'm just going to go with what we see on TV. That's probably the easiest way of doing that, and then just kind of let your imagination run wild if you want to add any more sort of canon into your own universe of Doctor Who. So like I said, a bit of a mixed reaction I felt when it was initially announced that the War Games was the next to be in colour. Bit of a sort of a negative impact when it was the Daleks in colour. Quite a lot of Whovians feel that these shouldn't be messed around with if they're going to be in colour. They should just be as they were originally transmitted, rather than these condensed versions. So I had a lot of sort of I was seeing a lot of that on comments and things like that on social media, and that's absolutely fine, absolutely fine. But I can tell you from the poll that I did on my own channel, thank you very much for voting, by the way, that the majority are very much looking forward to this special. At the time, it was about the 80% mark. Could be more, could be a bit less now. But yeah, there's definitely been a bit of a mixed reaction, but quite a lot of a positive reaction still as well. And a lot of people saying that they would still watch this special when it airs on the 23rd of December. I'm excited for it, and like Russell T Davies said in that article, that it will go alongside the original version. So it's not a replacement. It's not there like the Star Wars. You know, I treat it like Star Wars Special Edition, where it's like, that's it. The original one is just going to be kept under lock and key, probably somewhere in like the Indiana Jones vault, like at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is just another version of this story. So you can still have the original, but you can also have this color version. But like I said, I am very much looking forward to this colorized version of the War Games. It is one of my favorite Second Doctor stories. It is a 10-part epic, but I am fascinated how they're going to reduce this to 90 minutes. But it's just going to be all out action and just a wonderful, glorious adventure. If you haven't seen it before, it is easily available. It's on BBC iPlayer at the moment. I'm sure it's still on Tubi across the pond. Let me know in the comments if I'm incorrect in that one. But that's what I'll be doing. I will be definitely checking out the original version because I haven't seen it for a while. And then compare it to the colorized version of this presentation, ready for Christmas. But let me know in the comments below, what was your thoughts on this announcement of the War Games being the next story to be in colour, and what do you think of this presentation being reduced to 90 minutes? Are you for that? Are you against that? What would you like to see happen in this special edition version of the War Games? Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please like, share and subscribe. Hit the close bell for more notifications. Come say hello and follow me on Facebook and X. And do check out my other fantastic Doctor related content on the Timey Wimey Review TikTok page. And of course right here on the Timey Wimey Review YouTube channel. And as the good doctor once said, I maintain I have the right to decide what I look like.